Kia ora everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Amy, the colorist here behind Amy Water Art, and I'm back today with another video for you all. And this one's actually going to be a new series that I want to start. This has been heavily inspired by Elm Colours and her Weekend Whips, or Colouring Bumblebee Whips of the Week, and all those other beautiful series where somebody will show just what they've been working on during the week. And so I've been wanting to do one of these for a little bit because I am primarily a live streamer. However, not everyone likes to come to a live stream, and I thought this would be a really good way to just do a once a week catch up. For those of you that don't want to come to a live stream, just have a little bit more compressed of a video and just show you what I've been working on. So I am just going to call this series Whatcha Working On Wednesdays. I am aiming to put these up on Wednesday New Zealand time, which may mean they go up Tuesday for some of y'all. But yeah, I do want to put these out Wednesday mornings, and we'll see how this goes. I can be a little inconsistent, but I thought it would be fun, and you never know. So yeah, I'm going to show you what I've been working on, and I would love to ask you what you've been working on. What are you working on at the moment? We of course have started Mermaid, and so there is plenty of mermaids that I've been working on, as well as some other things. So I have my coffee. It is a decaf. I have cut out caffeine entirely again, although this time it was much easier than the last time because I was not withdrawing from energy drinks and a lot of coffee. Now I'm just trying to help my sleeping by entirely cutting out caffeine again. And I can tell you right now, it hasn't been helping, which is why I have quite a bit that I've done. So I'm going to start by showing you what I have completed so far this week. I'm not sleeping again, so there's a lot, but I also tend to work on a lot of things at once, and that's what you're going to see with this, is I'm working on a lot of things at once. The other thing I tend to do is, for example, I've done a lot of basing with Gansai Tambi. This is the state of my set 1 and set 2 Gansai Tambi. You can see just how much I've used these fellas up. So yeah, I tend to base a lot of pages, and I'm very, very grateful because not only did I receive set 3 as some happy mail this week, but I got a replacement set 2 and set 1. So thank you so much, because not only do I obviously need some more because I'm running very low and just about to run out my first pan. I can probably scrape just the tiniest little bit out of it, but yeah, my first pan is definitely empty, and quite a few of them are near emptying. But also the dopamine hit of getting a package this week has just been huge, because I've definitely still feeling things, struggling with things, and honestly the dopamine hit of the package was just everything. So the first thing I based with Gansai Tambi was these PDF pages. These are bookmarks that were put out for free by Colouring Heaven. I did actually download these a couple of years ago when they put them out in 2023, but I'd entirely forgot about them until Lisbeth actually messaged me and was like, bookmarks? I was like, I had forgotten about these, thank you. So yeah, I just put down a Gansai Tambi base as well as iridescent watercolor. It tends to be my common combo for backgrounds. And then I've used various things. For example, here I've used just a gel pen, glitter gel pens. Here I've used fine liners, a little bit of Posca, a little bit of glitter gel pens. Here I used more iridescent watercolor to do the shells. And this one I've got paint pens, alcohol markers, a chunky glitter, all sorts of stuff to colour it in. So I do need to obviously cut them out and trim them up a bit. I am deciding if I am going to do my... Sorry, my nose is running a bit. I just sneezed before. I'm just deciding if I am going to put a top coat of Mod Podge Extreme Glitter like I usually do with my bookmarks, but I kind of feel like it doesn't need it. So, I mean, this one obviously already has some glitter, but yeah, I'm kind of liking it as is. So I might just need to cut them out and maybe laminate them. I tend to wait till I've got a few things to laminate. I've also finished off a couple of pages in Portrait of the Mermaid by Sarah Berrier. I'm probably gonna do a few more of these. I like just doing in one color and focusing on a color. So I've done this red one here, and I've done this bluish with a little bit of copper here. Again, base with the Gansai Tambi, and because I've got that new set, I kind of want to use one pan of each color and just go through and base the next few, and then try out each one and just use that as the color theme. But yeah, these are really sweet, quick little images, and I had a lot of fun with those. Now, I'll wait a minute to. No, I'll show you. Oh my goodness. So before I show you A Million Mermaids, I need to show you Underwater Worlds by Renata Krauzik. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. She's Polish. I just saw somebody put up a flip through of this morning too, so that was really cool to see because I haven't seen a lot about this book. But I finished off this page here, which again, you can see the Gansai Tambi background. And then I just used paint pens on top and Language gel pens. And I really enjoyed this. Renata has like a really interesting style. They are quite busy sometimes, but there's lots of line work in them. And she does this all traditionally with traditional pen and ink. The turtle's a great example of the line work, right? You can see there's all those additional lines in it. And what I found was if I coloured it with the paint pens and then went over with Language gel pens to do all that line work, it was really fun, and I really liked it because the paint pens still had a slight translucency, and that line work just added some really fun detail. So I really enjoyed that one. And so then I went ahead and I actually based this one first, but as you can see, I'm still working away on it. This one I actually used some acrylic inks to initially base it because I had some leftover acrylic inks from another page. They tend to bleed through a bit, and so I was like, well, since they bleed through, I might as well also do the turtle page. So I have completed the turtle page, and you can see a lot more of that line work here. I did this while babysitting and nibbling yesterday, and yeah, I really like that again. Just having so much fun with the Language gel pens at the moment. It's just been the media that's kind of clicking with me. So I'm still working away on this one with the paint pens, and then I'll go back over and do all the line work. And then I'll decide whether or not I'm also going to go ahead and do that one. That one's a bit tiny, but I could colour that one directly with the gel pens rather than the paint pens. That's Underwater Worlds by Renata Krauzik, with a page I'm working on as well as what I've completed off. But then I decided to try the same technique in A Million Mermaids. It didn't work as well here, to be honest, but I don't mind it. I used some iridescent markers on this page too. Yeah, just experimenting and trying out. Again, I did this yesterday while babysitting a nibbling. Yeah, don't love it, don't hate it, just kind of meh about it. It happens. Same with Der Welts under Land Under the Microscope, Water, or this is Rita Berman. So I have this double page spread here. Again, this is another one done while babysitting the nibbling. Pablo pencils and a few sparkly pens, and yeah, I don't mind it. There's something about, I don't know, I enjoyed doing it, but it also wasn't clicking with me, and I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, so I might come back to this, like something later on in the month may click with me and go, actually, this is what it's missing, and then I might come back and go, and feel happier with it, which is sometimes what happens. But yeah, just, I don't know. Again, I enjoyed doing it. It was fabulous while babysitting. It was a great sort of brainless project while babysitting, but yeah. Another one, you can see just how many I tend to base at a time. One night I based 15, and then another night I had leftover ink, so I based like another 6 or 7 with the ink, and then I had another run with the watercolors, the Gansai Tambi, which is where the seahorse came out. So yeah, I tend to just base a bunch at once. This one is Oceans by RJ Hampson, and I used again the Gansai Tambi to base the background. And then I was like, it would be really cool to do this one color because I realized I had an Ohuhu that color, and this is just red violet in the polychromos. So yeah, I shaded everything with just red violet, black, and a little bit of a white Pablo, and then of course glitter, which also happens to be the exact same color. So that was a really fun sort of like one color challenge as well that I just decided to commit to for the seahorse. Again, I remind you all, I'm also not sleeping right now, so this is just what we've been completing. We've still got what we're actually working on. Mermaid City by Kay Camero. Again, based with the Gansai Tambi. This one I actually did on stream. This is the one that stream voted for, the little Merkitty. Of course, we had to do a black Merkitty. And then I believe I used alcohol markers. No, maybe water-based markers. Maybe I just went directly in with the Pablos. I have to go and watch the stream footage. I don't even remember. That says a lot. Yeah, but again, I do like this one. I think this one turned out really cute. And it's nice to have one in a Kay Camero book that I'm actually like, yes. Because I did a bunch in Kimmer Parish last month and it didn't click so much. So yeah, that one clicked a bit. And there's a whole bunch more mermaids in here, cute animal mermaids. So I may come in and do another one. But again, I just love throwing that Gansai Tambi in the background with some iridescent watercolor, maybe some regular watercolor. And once that background's done, it's really quick and easy. Secrets of the Sea. So this is one of my bedtime. I've been waking up to 3 a.m. and then just roll over to work on something beside me because I can't sleep. And then once I can go back to sleep, roll back over and go to sleep. So this one does have the acrylic ink in the background. Luckily, this one didn't bleed through. Sometimes ink settles a bit more down into the page. So yeah, but this one's just done with various purple gel pens. I didn't realize when I was coloring it how much that would look like eyes, but I can't help but see a face here now, which I'm not mad at. And there was a joke because it's purple that it reminds someone of Prince. So this is the crab formerly known as Crab Prince. Yeah. So that was just sitting there with gel pens and colouring in section by section by section, which is kind of why I've been digging the Millie pages lately. This is Millie Mariotta's Secret of the Sea. Now, this one I didn't base. These two are a little different. The Huldrafolk Mythical Creatures. This was done last night because I couldn't sleep. Just your good old alcohol marker page. A little bit of Jelly Roll for highlights and Mod Podge Extreme glitter on top. Again, that one doesn't take long. But yeah, I love putting Mod Podge Extreme glitter on top. It just makes it so much more magical and sparkly water. And yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do like little blue pen highlights and stuff like that. And then I have Precious Planet by Millie Mariotta. This was a new purchase this month because again, I needed a dopamine hit. And I've been loving Millie so far. And of course, I had to start with a kiwi page. Is there any other page I'm going to start with in this book when there is a kiwi? So this has all been done with Langro gel pens, and I coloured the flowers as if they were Pahutakawas and Kawhai flowers, even though these aren't really Kawhai flower shaped, but those were the colours that I was thinking of. I love how my kiwi turned out. So yeah, that's everything I've finished off this week. And then the things that I'm working on again. So I'm not really sleeping, and so I have a lot on the go. I have a lot that I'm doing. It's just the way I tend to work. So we have the Underwater Worlds by Renata Krausgit. Again, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name correctly, but we have the work in progress here, which has been based with the Gansai Tambi and the ink with the paint pens. I'm really digging this sort of technique on it. So yeah, I'm looking forward, even though this will be my third and fourth page done here this month, it's clicking with me. So hey, if the book is clicking with me, let's work in it. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to that one with the paint pens and the Langwell gel pen. And Colouring Heaven Mermaid Special. Oh, I've actually completed one in here. I did this What Do You Hear by Dawn Davidson. Again, just Gansai Tambi and Polychromos. And then I have Christine Karen's Mermaid Heart based. Again, this one is one of the acrylic ink ones, because it doesn't matter if it bleeds through here, because again, ink tends to settle down more. I don't know what I'm doing here yet. It's a pretty page. I can see myself coloring this one, and I just needed to use up the leftover ink. So I was like, cool, let's base that one. In Colouring Heaven, The Little Mermaid, which is designs by Fabiana Tretti. I have 2 pages based here, again with Gonzo Tambi and iridescent ink. These ones, because they're printed, the lines, the watercolor tends to recede from it, so you get this fun sort of gradation around the line work as well, because the water resists the line works because of the laser printing. So yeah, but I'm really looking forward to coloring this one and making it quite dark and spooky. And then not sure about this one yet. I don't really have a plan for it again. It was the page I randomly pulled out, so I just based it. I have Sirens du Monde. I'd like to get a few done in here, but I have the Stingray page. I thought that would be cool to do because it's not like a traditional Merm. And yeah, I just really like the shape of the Stingray here. So that one's again been based. I will probably come in with maybe polychromos. Maybe I could also paint pen it. I don't know. I'll think about that one. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to approach that one yet. There's lots of options. I have, oh gosh, I have so many. I have Fantastic Worlds by Alessandra Fusi. I love this page. This is one that when the book first came in was like, yes, I want to do this page. Again, it's barely bled through, so you know, I'm not worried at all. Like, maybe there's a little bit of shadowing, but it's not bled through at all. This one, because she's half in and half out of the water, what I want to do is when she's under the water, I want to use polychromos so it keeps that translucency, but when she's on top of the water, use Prismacolor so that it's opaque. So that's going to be really fun to play around with. But one of the things that I'm struggling with is these fish, like, these flowers should be on top of the surface, but then that fish overrides the flower, which means that will be on top of the surface. So the flowers must be under the water. But then here, like, some of this here looks like it's out of the water, and that lily pad would be on top. It's quite hard. Yeah, and see, like, this shoulder is out of the water, and that fin is there. So the fin would be out of the water, but there's nothing to indicate this is back under the water, but the fish should be under the water. I'm struggling a bit with that element because I want the flowers to be under the water, but then on top of the water, but then I want the fish under the water, and it doesn't quite line up. So I might need to actually come in here and sketch some water lines like this for where the fish, maybe like that tail's just coming out of the water, right? And then we'll go over it with like white paint pens afterwards to kind of merge those and cover those 2 lines to make them harmonious. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I love this page and I really do want to do it. I love Alexander Fusi's work. Hot Manga, Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures. Again, I just have a base. This one here with the mermaid on the shore. I love the colors that I got here. I mixed quite a few different pans together to get that really fun gradation and separation. I do know I am going to have to draw in like a little bit of sand or a beach or something here because it needs a surface. Because she's out of the water on some rocks. Her and her friend are just sunbathing here. So I will need to draw in some sort of water, some sort of sand. And I don't know if I actually draw in like a little bit of the ocean here itself. At the very least, I'll just draw in some sand at the bottom. But I'm probably going to pull out the Prismacolors for this one and make them quite opaque. That's Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures by Camellia de Erika. And then the last one that I've based, that I'm working on, is In Beautiful Birds and Treetop Treasures by Millie Mariotta. And once again, I had to do the kiwi bird, except it's not a kiwi, but it's a tui, which is a beautiful bird. I love the colorways of them. So I've only just started doing some work with the Lango gel pens. So I've got a few of the leaves that I've done in the tree branch. This is Pahutakawa flowers in this tree, so I am going to pull out glittery red gel pens for the Pahutakawa flowers. They are absolutely beautiful, vibrant red flowers. We call them, they bloom right around Christmas, so we call them Aotearoa Christmas trees, because they bloom in our summer, which is Christmas Day. And then the tui itself has it normally has like a little white puffball on its neck, so I may add that in. But the colors of it is like brown and rich royal blue and this green. The colors are absolutely beautiful, almost like oil slick in that blue, green, brown shift. So it's going to be interesting to see if I can pull off those colorways of the bird. But yeah, I'm loving Millie's work still. This is another great one for when I need a little bit of brainless coloring. Speaking of brainless, I also have Lost Ocean by Joanna Basford. This is a whip I started last month, and I have done a little bit more of the filling in of the details, but I still have not managed to secure more gel pens. I do have somewhere locally that is selling some, and I think there is some more of this sort of blue color in there. I did test a little bit of jelly rolls, but they are quite a bit darker than the existing color, so it's not quite right to fill it in. But yeah, I'm hopefully picking up those new gel pens tomorrow, and then we can carry on filling in this background, finishing off these very little details to finish off with the background pattern, just a bit around here, and then of course the big swirly main parts of it. And then once all that's done, then it's just figuring out the mermaids, which I still haven't figured out yet, but that's going to be the last port and call, and there's no point me doing it until I have the gel pens. Just a couple more things that I am working on. Again, I work on a lot of things at once. Shimmer Art Mandalas. Now this one was actually in the Nibblings colouring book pile a couple of years ago. I went through my colouring books. I got rid of a bunch of them, but I put them out in the lounge for when the grandkids come around. And I decided to clean through them recently and take back basically any book that they're not working in. I wasn't doing it to take the books back, but I realized as I looked through them that my colouring style has changed, and things that I unhauled a couple of years ago I might actually be interested in colouring now. So anything that they hadn't coloured in, I took off and just left the pile of what they do actually colour in. And there's a mermaid page in here. So I just started playing around with colouring that. It's a mixture of water-based markers and alcohol markers. Again, this is another one I was doing in bed last night. I don't have much of a plan going into this. I just figured I'd start colouring it, and then we'll figure out the rest as we go along. Yeah, but you can't go wrong with a rainbow. But yeah, this one's quite cute. It's also got some really fun shimmery pages. And it does also have another mermaid page. Yeah, this one here with some different sea creatures and stuff. So yeah, that was very cute and fun so far. Easy colouring overnight. Little Folk, this is another one that we've been doing on stream. This is for Joe at Piggy Pens Tube and Holly of Hollyberry Colours hashtag, their light versus dark hashtag, which is beauty versus beauty versus booty this month. Basically it's mermaids versus pirates, so I did want to do a pirate. This has now been fully based with the alcohol markers, and now I need to come in with the pencils to tone and finish shading off all that skin, plus to do her translucent top here. But this is where all the acrylic ink came from for the backgrounds, because I wanted to create sort of like a stormy, it could be on the ocean fronts background here. So yeah, all based with Ohuhu markers so far. Still got to go in with the pencils to finish shading that one. And then we have Tales from Atlantis. This is another whip, and I've just done a little bit of work on the heron because I got an idea of how to do the hair. I want to bring these same colors across, but for some reason I started on the heron, even though my idea was for the hair. But there is these really cool blue herons, so I thought I'd take inspiration from that. So yeah, this is just a bit of Prismacolor so far. So working slowly away on that one. And again, I'll bring those same colours across to do her hair there. And then I don't know where I'm progressing from there, but hey, it's a bit more progress on this bit. So yeah, that's everything that I have been working on so far. I did not expect that to take as long as it did, but I knew that I had been working on a lot this week. I don't think I'll be working on that much every week, but hey, we'll see how we go. But yeah, now I want to spend again, very much inspired by Elm Colours, where she then sits down and works for a while on something. Sorry, just having a sip of my coffee because that's a lot of talking. So I decided that I am going to also sit down and work on a page review. I did debate, working on the pencils of the pirate page, or maybe just doing some more gel pens in one of my Millie Mariottas because they have been my obsession lately. But here's a very special page that I wanted to work on. And that is my colouring page, because I remembered that I was also going to make a video talking about how the colouring book idea started, what I want to do with all this. So I thought this is actually the perfect opportunity for me to sit down, film about the colouring book page while I work on the colouring book page, and hopefully get some more progress done on it. So if you haven't seen it so far, this one is a massive 3-page spread, and the pages are going to line up and carry across. So I've got the main elements done for page 1. Page 2 is pretty close to being done. I just need to finish the octopus and a couple of fish here, and then that's the main elements done here. And then on page 3, it is still very much in sketch stage. So I'm just going to find my octopus reference, because I am using a little bit of a reference to draw this, because octopuses are very detailed. Once I get that up, I'll come right back, and then I will begin to tell you the story of how this all came to be. Okay, I'll just move my other pages out of the way. So if you weren't aware already, there are 2 pages that have already been released for my colouring pages. That is Treetop Treats and Leaf Rider. They are both available for free on my Ko-fi. There is a link down below in my video where you can go to my Ko-fi store. You will head to the store page, and the colouring pages are listed there. They do say pay what you want, but you are more than welcome to put $0 in there. Honestly, these pages were released for free, and I am planning to release the rest of the pages for free as well. It's my gift to the community, and I'm also aware how tight things are and how far it is to stretch $1 these days. I recently had to leave my job for medical reasons, so I get it. I love a freebie, so I'm more than happy to release these for free. And yeah, you just have to print them out and then you can color them. And I have loved seeing the versions that I have seen of people coloring the pages. I'm still working away on one of mine to color as well. I've also given them to the Nibblings themselves, and they have been coloring them, and honestly that's just made my day. So how this book started was about a year and a bit ago, quite a while ago. I was babysitting the Nibblings, which is a term that I use for my nieces and nephews. So I was babysitting a couple of them, and one of them asked me what happened when Shadow, the black kitty cat that we have, the old grumpy black kitty cat, decided to jump the fence in our backyard and head into the bush. So where I live, I have a backyard, and then there's a pathway that we can walk down, although a tree has fallen down over it and it is not paved in any way. So me using a walking frame, I can't actually mobilize down it. But there is technically a pathway that's very overgrown that leads to a bottom garden as well that we genuinely don't even use. Yeah, so there's this big overgrown garden at the bottom of the backyard, and the cat Shadow loves to go and explore down there. It's a garden. He is an outdoor cat. He does love going and climbing trees and playing in the grass. Even though he's an older cat, he absolutely adores it. Especially when the kids are around, he really likes to go and escape into the garden. So yeah, we were babysitting the nibblings, and one of them asked me, what happens when Shadow goes to the bottom of the garden? Like, why does he go down there? And the thing is, I am a DM or dungeon master, or a game master is another term you might be aware of. If you've ever heard of tabletop roleplay games, think Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, I'm trying to think of some other systems that I've played. There's so many RPG systems out there. Monster of the Week is a fabulous one. But anyway, as a game master or dungeon master, you are creating a world that your players basically respond to. They will create characters, they will do things in this world, and you are creating everyone else in this world and everything going on in this world. So when I was asked this question about Shadow the cat heading into the backyard, I was like, oh, wow. Obviously, there's a whole world at the bottom of the garden, and began to tell a story about the garden glen, is what I called it. The secret garden glen of this magical world where animals weren't quite the same size, and you know, the adventures that Shadow would go on, and how there were these trees that were so big that they hosted entire shopping malls and were apartment buildings. How there were wonderful treats, and you would go and have a picnic with the bunnies and go visit the mermaids of Mermaid Lake and ride the birds and the bees and the butterflies up to Rainbow Cloudland in the sky to go say hi to the fairies, and just starting to create this world. And of course the nibblings were creating things along with me, because kids love to jump in on a made up story and add their own details. So we were making up this little story, and it was very, very cute and very fun. And I was really, I had a lot of fun with it, as I do. And then they carried on playing, and I carried on with my life. And then I think it was about 6 months later, I was having a bad night. I wasn't doing great mentally, and I was just wide awake. And for some reason, I was just remembering the story. I tend to try and think of, positive memories. And I was just remembering the story that we had told of Shadow and the garden glen and all that sort of stuff. And my brain just went, that's a really cute coloring book, and started visualizing it as pictures. And it was like my brain just went on fire. And again, this is another 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Apparently, it's a very creative time for me. But I was just, idea. And I grabbed out my phone and I just started typing ideas. And I made an Excel sheet of planning out, like, if this was a coloring book, what would the order be? How do we tell this story? And I ended up messaging a friend the next day and being like, I think I've just designed a coloring book. And explaining it. And yeah, it was like, oh, this is really cool. But I didn't draw it. And I was very hesitant to draw it because I've been so nervous about drawing. Because if you weren't aware, a few years ago now, while waiting to get a diagnosis of my ankylosing spondylitis, I was very, very swollen. My hands, like my knuckles, were out to here. I couldn't even hold a pencil. And I was waiting months and months to see somebody about this, to get a diagnosis and to get some treatment. And while waiting, because my ankle was also swollen, I actually slipped getting out of the shower because I could barely mobilize. And while falling, damaged my hand. And ever since then, I have never been able to draw like how I used to draw before flare up and fall. And it made me it was really hard to draw. It's still really hard to draw because I have a tendency to compare my current drawing to past Amy drawing, which is a really bad thing to do. And I'm trying my best to not do it anymore. But I used to do a lot of realism, and so not being able to control my hands the same and get that detail in like I used to, and yeah, again, it was just, this isn't how I draw. So I never went about with this book, because as much as I had this idea and this full plan, and even the title, or the working title, which by the way is Shadow and the Secrets of the Garden Glen, is the working title for this colouring book. But yeah, I didn't draw anything about it, and I didn't really talk about it because I was kind of nervous about the drawing aspect. Even to my nibblings, my delightful little nibblings, who do feature in the book. This is Papaya, and then the younger one, which has been drawn in here, the younger little boy is a representation of Peel, and then the older girl is Papaya, and that does represent two of my nibblings. It is not meant to be them exactly, but a interpretation of them. And yeah, they were the ones that were talking to me about the Garden Glen. So yeah, so I didn't do anything about it for ages and ages and ages. And then we had the February this year, we had the hashtag Colouring for Cancer Month. And I knew that I wanted to do an additional live stream to try and raise some additional funds. And I was trying to think of different challenges that I could set for myself about for raising incentives. And I decided at £500 and then £1,000 that I would design and release colouring pages. And I did that for two reasons, because they were lofty goals and they were important values, because once we reached £500, we had fundraised to raise money for a doctor that could do research against cancer. So I was like aiming for £500 a day, a doctor a day to keep the cancer away. But the other big reason is because I knew that if I publicly committed to doing this, it would make me take that final step. Now, I'd done some more drawing by this stage, because again, this has taken place over a year and a half. And I'd come to accept at this stage that I was a little bit more cartoony in my style. And I was like, okay, we just have to accept we're more cartoony now. We don't do realism. We don't have the control that we used to of our hands. That's okay. But I was still very nervous about doing this, especially because if anyone knew how I used to draw, it'd see my old art. So when I announced this on stream, I was honest. I mentioned how nervous I was about doing this, and everyone was just so positive and so lovely and just like, oh, that's really cool. And told me, don't be nervous. We'll enjoy it regardless. And so I did do a stream, or multiple streams, where I was drawing the first two pages. And the amount of love I got on those streams of people saying, this page is so cute, I can't wait to draw it, really just made me feel so much better about the whole process and everything about my drawing, and just feeling that much better about the page. So I really can't thank everyone enough that has been so encouraging about the drawing and just the coloring pages themselves. And so yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to keep releasing these pages, and the goal is eventually, yes, to release it as a book. So you might be like, well, if you're releasing the pages for free, who would buy it as a book? There would be a couple of pages I would probably do like as bonus exclusive pages for the book. But yeah, I'm still planning on releasing the entire book for free on my Ko-fi, page by page, little at a little. I'm not planning on like one page a month. I will do them as I can do them. My hands still have issues with drawing, so I need to work. I need to draw when my hands allow, and when my hands will cooperate with drawing. I can't just force this to happen as is. But yeah, I really do enjoy having a reason to draw again, to sketch again, and I can't wait to get some more out for y'all. So yeah, knowing that so many of you have been enjoying the pages and stuff like that, and Papaya in particular has been very strong about creating more of this world. So Mermaid Lake, which is currently what I'm drawing, is a very important part of the Garden Glen. Mermaid Lake is something that when I go swimming with Papaya, we play as the mermaids, so there is actually quite a lot of established lore by the mermaids, and this is what is being created by Papaya. So yeah, I knew doing this page I had like some very specific details I had to create. So there are certain mermaids that had to be featured on the page. Going back to the first one that we've done, we have Bubbles the mermaid here, which is a representation of me. I am going to try and hide Bubbles on almost every page, if not every page. And you'll know it's me because it's got the space buns. So I am going to try and hide some form of Bubbles. I didn't hide her on Treetops Treats because I hadn't thought of it then, but I am going to try and hide her in most places because she's going to be following the kids. And this is Shelley, who is one of the mermaids. There's also Pearl, who will be on the third page. So yeah, the mermaids, they swim around all day and they dig up treasures from the bottom of Mermaid Lake: crystals, pearls, special rocks, gems, and then they take what they dig up over to the octopus that lives at the bottom of the Mermaid Lake, and the octopus turns those pearls and treasures into potions. What these potions do, I haven't quite clarified. But yeah, I'm just like, cool, okay, yep. The other big detail that Papaya was very adamant on with the mermaids is that mermaids have pockets, which, if you know, I was just like, yep, mermaids have pockets. Yep, I can very much get behind the essential need of pockets. So yeah, so mermaids have pockets, by the way, and that's what they store all their treasures in. So yeah, that's why Papaya here has a little bag that's got a little crystal poking out. I'm still deciding if I'm going to turn this into a net bag or leave it just as a general bag. Obviously a net bag has a lot more detail, but yeah, these are things that as I fill out more of the page, I'll decide then. So yeah, and then at the third page is where Shadow the cat will be sleeping on a rock, and there's a rock cave system, and that's how the mermaids travel throughout the Garden Glen, or whatever this land is called. And it contains not only a few shops and stuff like that. I'm going to specifically have a jellyfish that is got like a little noodle bar. I just think that's funny. Seaweed and noodle bar. But it's kind of like the highways. There'll be a whole bunch of passageways to different areas that the Merms use to travel around. And that is how Bubbles was also in the Leaf Rider page, even though the river is separate from Mermaid Lake. So yeah, that's one of the like very strong elements that has been created for this page, and some of the lore around it. There's quite a bit of lore around it too. Rainbow Cloudland is also another very much Papaya strong area that has been created. While I do plan on doing a page where they are flying in the sky on all the different flying creatures, I'm not planning on visiting Rainbow Cloudland. I feel like that would be a whole new book. We do know that there are dragons and unicorns up there because the unicorn comes down with their ice cream cart and sells them ice creams. So yeah, and so that could be like a second book. There's also one thing that I haven't added to any other page is cats, because there's no cats in this world. Shadow is the only cat that comes a visiting. And so if you're like, oh, but where are all the cats? That's because to go to cats, you go to space and you go under the front deck, because that's a whole new side story that we've created as well. So yeah, there's basically like 3 books that I could create here. So I really do need to get off my ass and get drawing, because we've got a few. But yeah, the story itself is going to start with the kids in the real world. I could actually show you guys. I should get the folder and show you guys what I have sketched out so far. Give me a second. I'll grab that. So yeah, this is the massive folder. I do draw the original pages at A3,
I am going to have to rearrange some of this folder because I only left one page for Mermaid Lake and it's now turned into a triple. So my little plan out doesn't quite work here. But I have drawn Shadow, Peel, and I've just got to finish Papaya here. And this will be the character introduction page. And then I just need to ink it and obviously generate the text for describing each of the characters, because I do want them to have a little introduction page. So this is the one that's not far away from being done. And this is where they'll be in the real world. So you can see here I did sketch out on another page in my journal, and then I blew it up and traced my lines from the original sketch. The kids feeding Shadow the cat, and then like a little minis here of all the things to feed Shadow. So there will be scenes like this where I think here I wanted to have like Papaya kind of dancing with Shadow, and here we have like Peel playing. So we're going to start with the kids in the real world, and then Shadow on the couch. Again, this is blown up from some little sketches that I did, jumping off the couch after, waking up. And then we're going to have a shot here where we follow basically the backyard and Shadow walking out into the backyard. You can see there I've got birds, and birds should be coming in way later on. But here we'll have the kids following Shadow into the backyard and jumping over the fence to follow him into the bush. And then, yeah, all sorts of things are following down into the bush. I know I want to have one shot that's just basically like following just like the feet, the shoes, as the kids walk down, and then like a close-up on the bugs, and you'll start to see the bugs have like walk past a snail taxi service or snail bus stop, I think it is. So it's like little hints that they're heading to somewhere that's not quite real, and then there'll be a portal door. And my idea is that if this is me also kind of figuring out if it was double-sided, there would be a blank page behind it, because this portal door technically would be a cutout that could be stuck onto this page, so you could have literally a lift out page, because I also think that's really fun. And then here I would introduce a map of the Garden Glen, because Papaya has actually drawn a map for me, which I don't have in the book, and that was silly. I should keep that in here too. But we do have a map of the Garden Glen, so I will need to, that's where I would draw that in. And then this is where we start getting into all the fun different scenes that are in the Garden Glen. So, for example, frog reading is a frog librarian that will be reading a story to Peel, and Papaya will be on their stomach drawing or something like that. So big reading there. You can see cloud gazing. I may change that one, not sure yet. I know I want to have them having tea time with the bunnies, so having afternoon tea. The one big contribution that Peel has given is that the spiders help them with their clothes, like hanging their clothes up to dry. So this is the two that I have finished. Leaf Rider. You can see I'm colouring mine all fantasy because I want a clear distinction between that real world and the fantasy world. And then Treetop Treats I'm still working on. So this is the trees that are as big as the malls, which are these trees back here, and that have entire worlds in them. So yeah, if I was to turn this into like a proper book, I feel single-sided. We love single-sided here. But I would also have a bit of a story going on to explain this as well. So yeah, Treetop Treats, explaining about the trees, why it's such a zoom in here. And then so in between like Treetop Treats and Leaf Rider, like their clothes are going to get wet. So I kind of feel like it would be more like this way. They have a snack and then they go riding, then their clothes get wet. So the spiders would hang up their clothes, and that's when they would get dressed into costumes from the costume maker, and then they'll go and see the bunnies to go and have an afternoon tea or something like that. So I may play around with the order a little bit to make the story flow better. And then yeah, they may do them climbing trees. That was originally what Treetop Treats was them climbing trees. Riding the birds is it's birds and bees and butterflies and a dragonfly and them flying through the sky. And then eventually there will be a walking home. And then after they walk home and they head back into the real world, there'll be a final scene where all three of them will be asleep on the floor, surrounded by all the toys. But the toys are going to be characters that they meet along the journey. So, for example, there will be a little bird, there'll be a ladybug. I do plan on doing, you get those ducks that you pull on a string, and you get a big duck and then these 5 little ducks in a row that you pull on a string. Yeah, your ducks. Obviously, there'll be a mermaid toy. And yeah, little bits and pieces, and it'll be symbolizing what they meet along the way. So are the kids really on this adventure, or did they just make it up in their head, in the way that kids do? So yeah, that is, whoops, I bumped my camera before, sorry, but that's where we're at so far with the story and a little bit more about it. Again, if I'm talking long term, the dream about turning it into an actual colouring book, but the story itself would be featured in the colouring book, like the official colouring book. I don't even know how I would get this thing published, because again, I'm unemployed, so, and I know how people feel about Amazon, KDP publishing, but that is one feasible way. But then I also imagine, this one is a triple, right? Like, this one's going to be triple length. So I could do it as a double page spread, but slightly shrunk down. But the book would be published this way, so it doesn't quite work that way. So it would have to be across this way. Ideally, it would actually be a fold out, but then yeah, like, can you even do fold outs on Amazon KDP? Like, I want to do some real funky stuff in terms of publishing this book. So I don't know, but again, like, I'm working on page 4, 5, and 6, and then I have 7, 8 fully drawn, not inked. I have 9, 10 based out, and then I have the rest of it planned. So, and I'd want a reasonable amount of pages too. So yeah, this isn't happening this year. Let's put it that way. This is not a this year thing. But it is absolutely the dream. I think it would just be so cool to have something with my name on it. That, and be like, I have done this. But then it would also be wonderful to take that round to the kids and be like, a silly little story that we told together is now a whole world. And I've shown Papaya, I have finished versions of this colouring page by both Jess from Colouring Bumblebee and then Shona at Sean M. Cause, and I've shown Papaya both of those finished pages, and oh, she just, it's so cool. So yeah, if you have coloured either Leaf Rider or Treetop Treats, please do send me a copy, whether you post it on Instagram or you just want to email or direct message it to me. If you're not planning on posting it, which is totally fine, just please let me see it, because I love seeing it. I also love getting feedback on the pages, because again, this is very much a in progress situation for me. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and it's nice to have something to focus on as well. See, I'm still kind of gutted that I didn't quite get this out for Mermaid, but that's okay, these things happen. I'm gonna get rid of that little overlap there and just leave that be there. Just use, it's too much detail. So yeah, I sketch these with pencil, and then I go over it. I get a fresh piece of paper and I put it on a light box, and then that's when I go over it with the ink pens and start turning it into the actual lines. But we got a lot more, because I do like to fill in the page a bit more. I don't like the big empty space. I like to fill it up a bit, and I personally like a little bit more of a detailed page. So my pages are a little bit more detailed, which I've actually heard is quite enjoyable. Like, they're detailed, but they're not overly detailed. There's still space, which is one of the feedbacks that I've had, and that means a lot because I think because I'm approaching this not as, I mean, I am an artist. Let me correct that saying. I am approaching this as an artist, but I'm also approaching this as a colorist. So I'm approaching this keeping in mind details. But I am aware, like, some of these things down here, I've still got to fill out more of this tree. But right now, these crystals are very, very small, especially if you print this half size. But then that's the sort of thing where I would just grab a fine liner and just do one color and then be like, boom, crystals are done. It's also the thing where it gives life to the page and adds detail without needing to put a lot of detail into it. Fine liner and then like 2 little white lines for highlights, and then boom, you've got a whole crystal colored. So that's kind of what I'm doing with some of the bigger details. I'm just gonna sketch in to remind myself that I want the tentacles that side, and then we're gonna bring the tentacles down here, and then they go like down there. And I do, this is again why I do have a little bit of a reference up of some various octopi, because they have a surprising amount of detail in them. So yeah, there'll definitely be an octopus plushie at the end. Also, there is, oops, no, we want page 3. There is, the octopus is wearing a fabulous fascinator, because why not? I think that's fabulous. So yeah, why wouldn't the octopus wear a fabulous fascinator under the lake? All right, and then so we're gonna finish your head that way, and probably gonna oversize the head a little bit because we're working a little bit more cartoony style, so we kind of want to exaggerate a couple of things. So yeah, I think that'll work. We'll also have some like eye shinies or something. I haven't quite decided with the eyes yet. Yeah, I'm also trying to avoid coloring in eye pupils, because even though this might just be, colored in black, you may also choose to then add like your own pupil inside it and then color that in a color as well. Like, that's one of the things that I'm trying to avoid doing. Plus, when you print something, the black that prints is sometimes different than your black that you're coloring. Like, if you're using polychromos pencils, for example, that black is actually more of like a red warm brown. That's very, very dark. And so the black that prints on the printing is not gonna match. So I'm trying to avoid like actually coloring in details that would print out solid. Obviously, some of these things, as they shrink down, do appear basically solid, but that's just due to size, because I draw it double size. Basically, I am intending that most people will probably shrink this down. I color it full size. But yeah, I think we're about an hour in, and we've got a bit of work on our octopus done. Not as much as I imagined, but also what I have been working on took a little longer than I intended. I'll decide if I'm actually going to show everything I complete or everything that I'm working on only, because it is called Whatcha Working On. So maybe I'll just show the whips. Let me know. This is the first one, so we are clarifying how this is going to work and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it'll be like interesting to see how we go with this. But yeah, let me know, do you prefer to see, am I spoiling completed pages by showing what I have completed in the week, or should I just focus on my actual whips that I'm working on? and not show you guys what I have completed so far. It can be a lot, as you see, especially when I'm having my sleepless nights. So yeah, like, is this too much? Do we just do the whips? Yeah, we'll figure this out as we go along. But the most important thing is, what you're working on. Let me know down below what you're currently working on for the month of May. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the colouring book and Mermaid Lake, and yeah, hopefully we'll get this page out soon and you can colour it and I can colour it. I'm excited to colour it. So yeah, we just got quite a bit more detail to go, but yeah, I hope you're all doing well out there, in this crazy times. All the araha to you all. Take care, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.